Let's get right into it. 100% of the vote. To me, I was leading into it. I was like, who's going to be the fool on the record for voting against Mariano Rivera? I wanted to see it. It didn't happen. 100% of the vote. When you think about that, first time in Major League Baseball history this has happened, talk to me about what thoughts went through your mind about this man that you covered for so many years.
Well, I was happy for him, and I thought like you that somebody would probably want to make a name for himself or herself. And I just think that the goodness of Mariano Rivera, obviously the greatness on the field, and I never, ever, and I saw him throw his first pitch, and I saw him throw his last pitch, Stephen. I never saw him treat anybody with disrespect. From the people that were the ushers and the vendors at Yankee Stadium, people that mopped the floors in the clubhouse, he treated everybody the same. He treated them with class, and I don't think that any writer wanted to have that stain on their all-time record that they kept Mariano Rivera from being a unanimous selection because, we all try to be objective. We try to be right down the middle and not let personal feelings impact the way we feel about somebody that's actually playing the game. But I think it does, and I'm sure that there are players that rub some writers the wrong way, and because of the rule of 10 where you have to be strategic in voting, they'll say, I'll leave this guy off so I can put somebody else on because he'll get enough votes. Nobody did that with Mariano because nobody wanted to be that person.
Michael K. right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. And when you look at it from that standpoint, I think to me, the message also that the Hall of Fame voters wanted to send was that there's a standard of excellence that we're going to hold these folks accountable to, but not just in terms of what you are on the field, but what you are on the field as well. More so than in any other sport, the Baseball Writers of America seem to be fixated on sending that kind of message. Am I right to peel that from this kind of voting?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they feel that they are the gatekeepers. And there's just such a different with the other sports Hall of Fames. Like, just for instance, you're watching Julian Edelman have a great game in the AFC Championship game. And in the fourth quarter, Tony Romo said, Julian Edelman should be in the Hall of Fame. That's how great he's been in big games. Mm-hmm. And Andrew Marchand in the Post pointed this out. I thought it was a great point. Julian Edelman was suspended for 4 games at the beginning of the year for PED use.
Right.
But in football, it doesn't matter. In baseball, it's a big deal. They really do take the type of person into account. And with Mo, I think that played in his favor.
Michael K. Posthumously, Roy Halladay, of course, Edgar Martinez and Mike Mussina are both elected in as well. Any issues with them getting into the Hall?
I thought Edgar Martinez obviously was long overdue. I mean, the narrative that he was a DH and that's not a full position. I laugh at that. It's like saying Mariano Rivera is a closer. He's not a starting pitcher. DH is a position. This is one of the best right-handed hitters I ever saw in my life, and who, by the way, owned Mariano Rivera. So he deserved to get in well before the 10 years that passed. And as for Roy Halladay, you look at that 9-year stretch, he was about as good as anybody. He deserves to be in. And, the sad part about that is that he's not going to be here to enjoy it.
No question. What about Mussina? What are your thoughts on him?
I thought he was borderline. The fact that he pitched his entire career in the American League East during the steroid era and did as well as he did and ringing up 270 wins, I certainly understand him getting in. I was a little stunned that, only a couple of years ago he had 20% of the vote. So somehow he picked up a lot of votes in a short amount of time. But I also look at it this way, Stephen. If he's in, why isn't Curt Schilling in? Why isn't Andy Pettitte in? Why did David Cone get under 5% of the vote? Now, of those 4 men I just named, and again, I believe that Mussina belongs in, but if you had a game to be started and your whole life depended on it, whether you lived or died, would you want Mussina, Schilling, Cone, or Pettitte? I'd say a lot of people might say of those 4, Mussina would be 4th.